games now for that Dvorak, Konechny, Zegras line together. What works for them? What makes them have a night like they can have like tonight?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the last game against McKinnon, I gave him quite a few shifts, and then Celebrini, another great player. So that's a good thing, and they're learning how to play. You can play offense by playing good defense. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of chemistry. I think they're all brings something to the table. Devo's good defensively, good draws. Obviously Trevor's good with the puck, and TK, is he's building his game, a 200-foot game.
You coached Dvorak in Arizona. He's shown more offense so far this year than he pretty much has his whole career. I guess, did you think that he had this kind of offense in him?
Yeah, I think he's getting a chance. I think that's why he signed here, right? He's more in the defense role in Montreal, really defensive or more in the fourth line, and I think he's getting a chance. He saw the opportunity here with our situation. I think that he's grabbing it, and he has a lot of fun. Him and Trevor are pretty close, and you can see that they're feeling it together.
How much of a luxury is it to have him? Because you're putting him out, he's taking key draw.
Yeah.
He was a monster in the face-off circle tonight. He's out there killing penalties last minute. I mean, for you as a coach, how much of a luxury is it to have a guy like
I've
that?
used him a lot, actually Meach went down at the start of the second. He had to get some stuff taken care of, and so I put him on the power play, things like that. So he's plugged a good hole for us this year.
What did you think of Ty Murchison's NHL debut?
He can skate really well. That's what I like of him, and he's competitive. I thought he did a great job for us tonight. I think there's some stuff, in your first game. I think he backed in a couple of times, but that's normal, and we'll work with that. But he's a good skater, and he's got some stiffness to him. That's what I like. When you have defense that can skate and have stiffness to him. I think he went in the corner one time, not scared, and took a hit from Reeves and kind of went at it with him. I mean, that's a good luxury to have.
I know we talked about the fourth line yesterday. It seemed like you were able to rely on them a good bit tonight. What did you think of them?
Yeah, I think Carl Grunstrom played really well tonight. Obviously he got the goal, but I thought, I used the whole bench. I liked the minutes from everybody. I know Mitch went down for the first part of the 5 minutes in the second, but other than that, I thought, playing that fourth line, getting them there, it really helps, for an 82-game schedule.
With regards to Dan Vladar, it had been about a week since he'd gotten into a game last game. Probably wasn't his best, but
sure.
Did you like the response tonight?
What I like is when we have those 3 days off, he was working with Dilly on his game. I like that. He was working out some kinks at practice. He was dialed in tonight. He looked really big. It's good to have that. I think Urs played 2 good games for us. So I love when a goalie has a tough night. It was, I didn't think it was that bad the other night. I just think that he can, you can work on some stuff, and I think that really helps when you have our schedule 3 days off.
In a game like this, though, you don't give up a ton of shots,
No.
especially the first 2 periods. But he has that one save. You guys score to tie it,
Yeah.
and then Will Smith gets a breakaway and he makes the big stop. Is that you need a goalie to be focused even when they're not seeing a lot of work?
Yeah, it's a good point because you look at the shot clock. They didn't have a lot of action, have a lot of shots, but those are critical. It's moments, right? Those are critical moments because who knows? They score another one, it's 2-0. You never know. So. It's like it's everything. The game's about these big moments. It's even like power plays. I'm not really concerned about percentages. It's can you score in the right time? It's no difference to the goalie making the right save, and then we score all of a sudden, right? So that's a big 2-goal swing for us.
You come out, you dominate, 10-0 in shots. They score in their first. So how important is that next shift right after that? Just right back at it.
Yeah, I give the guys a lot of credit because it's happened a lot this year where we've actually had a pretty good thing going, and all of a sudden the teams, all of a sudden the team scores, right? And instead of getting deflated, plus I've been liking our starts a little bit. Obviously Colorado was a little bit early on, wasn't as great, but most of the part our starts have been pretty good. And then when the other team scores first, I think this year I don't even know what it is. It's 14 times they've scored first, or you guys know more than I do, but we've bounced back from it. So that really helps too. We're not cracking.
You guys have lost consecutive games in regulation just once this season. Have you seen a real maturity with this group and being able to kind of flush the bad game and get back at it?
Yeah, I think with the league now, if you can avoid those 3-4 game losing streaks, right? We've so far, knock on wood, we've avoided them. And the one thing is with this team, you give them whether it's a project. We talked about squashing plays and not duplicating mistakes yesterday, and I thought, for the most part, we were pretty good in that aspect of the game. So, they do take the information and they're applying it. So I got to give them credit. And that's why hopefully we keep avoiding any kind of long losing streaks. They're tough.